Welcome to Bill Dance Saltwater. Great fun fishing that anyone can do. Yes, you can do this. The mighty Mississippi River flows some 2,320 miles from where it rises in Minnesota to just south of Venice, Louisiana, before emptying into the Gulf of Mexico. It's here where its waters become extremely fertile, making it literally alive with life. An abundance of bait fish and more sport fish like trout, cobia, and redfish than any fisherman could possibly imagine. This area is considered America's redfish capital. Tens of thousands are caught here annually by anglers from all over the country. The fertility of the mighty Mississippi makes a big portion of all this possible. And there's no question about it, one of our host Bill Dance's favorite places to fish anywhere is along the Louisiana Gulf Coast south of New Orleans near the town of Venice. Venice is in Plaquemines Parish along the west bank of the mighty Mississippi River, as far down as you can go by car. The area is famous for its service businesses for offshore oil platforms and well known for commercial fishing. Bill's good friend and popular area guide, Captain Mike Frenette, always keeps him updated on what's happening with all the species in the area. But for Bill, redfish is considered king here. And when Mike Frenette sends him the right report about them, nobody has to tell him twice to head that way. Today, Mike and Bill have teamed up with a plan to tease some big reds with Bass Pro Shop's saltwater Sally grubs. So climb aboard and let's see how they work.
You got one.
Yes.
Bill, you're gonna have to move to the back of the boat, buddy.
I'm heading that way.
Your fish is going around the back. Watch the power pole there.
You know what gets me? You just pull up out here and stop. Now what would put these fish right here? We hadn't seen any signs of bait fish, no slicks on the water. We hadn't seen any bird activity, but you just stop right here and start. Now, the depth is about the same. Now, what would put those fish right here? Now, you look, just miles and miles the same.
What it is, Bill, is we're kind of like at the end of we are at the end of the spawning season for these fish. So they come in close to the passes and into the bayous, so that when they lay their eggs, the current can take their eggs up into the estuary. And so these fish are all, they're staging in these areas, these what we call shallow flats, because not that long ago, this all used to be land. So if you know what the contours used to be, you kind of know where the fish are going to show up at certain times of the year.
That's a good fish right here. So you just come back to these areas year after year?
Depending on conditions. You have to have the right salinity. Now, obviously, the bait fish are here. They're just not up yet. It's early in the morning. They'll come up as the heat comes up. We have an incoming tide all day today. And so it's going to bring these fish further up onto these flats, sort of say. And as it heats up, we're going to start seeing some more slicks and some bait fish action on the surface, which is going to create more redfish for us. But it didn't take you long to hook the first one. I'm going to tell you, there's no such a thing as a weak redfish.
You got that right.
What a way to start it off. That's better than coffee in the morning.
You got that right.
That's a pretty one there. Now, they don't like the boga grip going to their lip real quick. You got to be fast. That's a nice one. Look at the size of this beast. Now, that's a big male. Got it. That is one nice fish, Billy.
Here
you go, buddy.
You're thumping. Okay, we're going back.
That is one pretty fish. Whoa.
There he goes.
Swims off for another day, buddy.
Yeah.
Today's show is sponsored in part by Bass Pro Shops, your adventure starts here. Quantum Rods and Reels, outsmart, outfish, outlast. And Mercury Marine, go boldly. Today's Conditions Log is brought to you by Bill Dance Digital. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube for great information that can improve your fishing.
Yeah, I said, do these fish have home range tendencies? Do they come back to the same areas year after year?
You know,
is there a depression or something here? These contours that you were talking about?
I mean, there's bottom contours from one side of the river all the way around to the other. And depending on the conditions, depending on the wind, depending on the salinity levels, that's going to dictate where their happy spots are going to be for a few weeks,
okay,
sort of say.
But the point is, why is this certain area? You kept moving across to get on this area. What makes this area better than an area 300 yards that way or 300 yards that way?
A lot of it's got to do with knowledge, knowing where they're going to be at a certain time of the year. And there are the bottom contours below us. We've got ridges, you know, highs and lows that used to be bayous. And so you'll go from like 4 foot of water to 6 foot of water, back up to 4 foot of water, and they'll use those underwater trenches as travel lanes that we can't see from the surface, but I know that they're there.
You fishing for so many years, you know.
Yeah, I mean, this used to be land, so you know what used to be there. And so those old bayous, or trenasses that we call, are now travel lanes. Trenasses.
That's a creek channel or a ditch or a...
Yeah.
Was that trenasses? What's that, French?
Yeah. That's French, that's Russian,
Trenasse.
that's German, that's everything all blended into one. Trenasse. Don't even ask me how to spell it.
I'm not. The title of the show, Cronassing with my boy Mike.
Yeah. Ask him how many pictures he's got of me on his phone. Like there's none. The whole morning for a half hour he's showing me all these pictures of other guides and people and every celebrity in the world holding up fish. There's not one. I fished with this guy for years. There's not one picture of me on his phone. Does that tell you something? His friend, his buddy.
Let me tell you something. I got a 12 by 14 picture of you on my office wall.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Oh, you got a fish on?
Yeah, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. You're talking about all the pictures you've got on your phone other than me.
Did he come off the edge of the Cronasse? Huh?
I'm cutting my line.
Did you
and
come
going
off the
home.
edge
I'm
of
cutting
the
my line
Did
and
you come
going
off
home.
the edge
I'm
of the
going
Cronasse?
home. I don't want to play anymore. It's a big fish. I see it.
You want some energy? Here. Mike.
Get some protein there, baby. Spinach. The jerky for champion.
I still got a little left. Ooh, boy, that is a Moby right there.
That's a big-headed girl there.
I saw him come up. The tail looked like it was like that.
Oh, baby.
You know there was another fish with him.
There's a bunch of fish with him somewhere. They underneath him. Come here, buddy. Don't get crazy.
All right, let me.
Well, look, he just spit up a big old pogie.
A pogie.
He just spit up half his breakfast. That was his croissant. that was his croissant that he just came out of that Trenasse from eating.
Fish.
Don't miss my fish.
I didn't miss him. You're talking to a trained professional here, buddy.
A trained assassin? What'd you say?
You're talking to a trained professional. I gotta get these pliers. I've got him. There it is. Got the bait out. All right, there's your fish, buddy.
That's a nice one. Get the jaws of life off of his mouth, huh?
I got a pair of these small grips like that.
You ready to go loose, buddy? Huh? You ready to go play again? Look at that. Look at that, huh?
Today's show is sponsored in part by Mako Boats, building legends for over 40 years. Gamakatsu, world's finest hooks. And Motor Guide, trolling motors engineered for anglers. Today's equipment log is brought to you in part by Gamakatsu, because the fish of a lifetime only comes once in a lifetime. Today's show is sponsored in part by Stren, the standard of dependability since 1958. Garmin, fight your fish, not your fish finder. And Mystic Lubricants, lubrication domination.
There's a slick right there, isn't it?
Yep. And you know, Bill, that's a good indication that the redfish are here. That's a result from them feeding on the pogies down below. And they eat so much they regurgitate, and when they regurgitate, that's the oil from the pogies coming to the surface. So that's one of the key signs that we've got animals in the area. There he is. One pop.
That didn't, one pop.
One pop. That's a sugar pop. I mean, I literally just released that fish, walked back up here, made the cast, one pop, bam, we're on.
I got a picture where they were schooling on top that you sent me. You know,
that was thousands. That was probably thousands of fish. Yeah, that was, you know, we see that, I don't want to say quite a bit, but it's not an unusual sight, especially when it's calm, but it's such a special sight. You can't do this anyplace else. Not for the numbers and the size. Just can't do it.
there he is.
Look, we got a double.
There's great fishing, great redfish fishing along the eastern seaboard.
Absolutely.
In select areas.
I think we're rubbing against each other. Rod, get up a little bit so I can see what to do. Okay, I got to go under you.
You want to go under me?
Yep.
How's that?
That's good.
And then along the Texas coast, in select areas of Florida. Golly.
He's on the surface crashing, isn't
Boy.
he? Look,
This area here has got to be.
it's the best.
Huh?
And like you said, there's good areas, other good areas to fish, but it's just hard to compare this with any place else.
Well, you know what I like about this particular popping cork? It's made by the Bomber folks. It's got a concaved head, and it sucks water. It kind of, when you pull it, it boom. But another feature about it, as you pull it and it pops back, it goes. You hear that sound? That clicking sound? It clicks, and that puts out a good sound against these brass beads as it comes forward. And then as you pull it back, you can hear that popping sound. Now the popping cork has Bass Pro Shop saltwater Sally grub on the business end of this rig. And all of this is attached to Strand's 30-pound braid superline that's made with Dyneema. And attached to that is a 30-inch section of Strand's 30-pound clear high-impact mono. And all of this is spooled onto Quantum Smoke 40-size reel that holds up to 220 yards. The reel is on a Fin-R 7'6" tidal rod. You know, I mentioned the word Dyneema. Well, that's a mighty big word, and you might want to know what it is. It's a polyethylene fiber that's super strong and offers maximum strength with minimum weight. Just how strong is it? It's up to 15 times stronger than steel. I'd help you, but
You would help me, but you're busy.
but I got a hand full of red.
I got it out. I'm gonna go ahead and just get this
Now,
one
you
back
talk
in
about
the
one
water
that's got
quick.
a lot of spice in his
So I
gumbo.
can
This
help
one
you.
does.
You ready, buddy? There you go.
All right, here's got his mouth open for you.
I got it.
Go easy, go easy. Don't lose that fish, Mike.
I'm not gonna lose your fish.
Goodness gracious sakes alive.
Look at this one, huh?
Look at the size of that fish. There you go. Whoa. Hello. How y'all today? Okay, I'm gonna see if I can get him out there. The Bill Dance Question and Answer of the Week is brought to you by Mystic Lubricants and their complete line of JT4 marine products. A full line of products for your full line of pursuits. Visit mysticlube.com today. Why is it important to put the precise amount of line on your reels? Well, when you fail to fill your reel spool, it requires more revolutions of the handle to take up the line. This means your lure speed is going to be slower when you begin your retrieve after a long cast than it will be as it gets closer to the boat. Another thing, if you overfill your spool, it's more apt to backlash.
Today's show is sponsored in part by Millennium Marine, a new class of comfort, and Fin-Nor, legendary tackle since 1933. Closed captioning is provided by Bill Dance Digital. Follow us. Today's product tip is brought to you by Garmin and their GPS map series, chart plotter sonar combos. With advanced sonar technology like Chirp and exclusive Panoptix all-seeing sonar, you'll spend less time finding your fish.
Garmin's new Striker Series is their entry-level solution for anglers who want the best sonar available at affordable price. Its Chirp sonar technology provides nearly photographic images of object structure and fish, and the Striker Series makes it available across the entire product line. Striker also has GPS, so you can get back to your favorite fishing spot anytime you want.
If you're looking for the latest fishing information and tips, be sure to check out the free Bill Dance mobile app, available for both iOS and Android users.
Let me ask you a question. Of all the inshore saltwater species, and there's jillions of them, you know, you've got permit, you've got snook, you've got speckled trout, I could go on and on and on. What would you rate number one, and why?
You know, Bill, I know I'm biased, but it's got to be redfish. And the reason why is you can catch redfish from all the way up the East Coast, down around the tip of Florida, through the Keys, into the Gulf of Mexico, all the way into Mexico. Some of the other species are relative to just certain areas, but there's redfish almost everywhere along the coastline. And they're such a strong fish, they're such an aggressive fish. It's a fish that can be battled on light tackle. I mean, I'd have to call it number one. They're becoming so popular. I don't know if you can go anywhere in the United States right now and mention redfish and somebody doesn't know what you're talking about. 10, 15 years ago, they'd have looked at you and said, what is this? Everybody gets excited about redfish. You got that stud now. Look at that one, would you?
There he is. How'd you like that quick release? Woo! They are slick.
That's a jumping monkey right there.
He's slick as boiled okra. Well, he went. Their characteristics, they're so much like a largemouth bass.
Oh, their characteristics are so similar to a bass. I mean, you could take the good old-fashioned 6-inch purple worm or a crankbait, and you know that redfish is just he's going to crash it.
Yeah.
He's going to hit it 10 times harder than a bass, and he's going to run 10 times harder. Just an amazing fish.
And they're structurally oriented too. They like drop-offs, and they like to get around the rows of canes and out on points and stuff.
They like oyster beds. They like rocks. We're fishing little channels, little drop-offs right now. All the similarities of bass, and it's amazing how close they are for attitude-wise and structure-wise, and the way their habitat is,
and
other than saltwater.
How crazy they are when they get hooked.
They're just crazy. Period. I mean, look, if you had to eat pogies all your life, you'd be crazy too.
over the years, we've done what, 6 or 8 shows,
Oh gosh.
or more than that.
More than that, yeah.
And knock on wood, we have just, I mean,
Been very lucky.
oh, we have. And it's your skill of being able to catch it, know where these fish are and where they live.
Well, look at your skill right now. You just whacked another one. Come here, buddy. Open up your mouth. Be nice.
Listen to Dr. Mike.
Be nice. Oh, what a beast.
That is a good one.
That's a good one for sure.
Well, I tell you what, he never would come in.
What a fight, huh?
Boy, he fought good.
Ugh.
That is a horse.
That is
See.
one big boy. Look how
Okay.
long he is.
Oh, yeah. Hey, you big baby. Thank you.
All right. I'm gonna hold your tail, let you get a little rest, and you can go back and play with everybody.
Unfortunately, we're hearing that often familiar signal from our producer that we're out of showtime for today. But there's not a chance that Bill or Mike are ready to leave right now, because the reds are still really biting good. Thanks for fishing along with us today, and be sure to join us again right here next week for the conclusion of this fun trip in Fishing at the Finest with the Finest Part 2. We hope you've enjoyed Bill Dance Saltwater and learned that you can do this. Please join us right here again next week.